Hello, welcome to this post-reaction show. We've just finished watching what is an absolutely incredible game of rugby. I actually don't think I have ever witnessed quarterfinals in any sport that have been this exciting. That is said as a Bok fan, that is said as a rugby fan, that is said as a fan of sports in general. What an incredible ending this has been to quarterfinals. I am joined, of course, by Carl Usher, Wesley Hartman, and Daniel Skoltz. Daniel has persisted with the hat, but that's okay. I'll go for it. It is green, so I'll take it.
Yeah,
What an
branded, bro.
Listen, I mean, whatever makes you happy, Paul. At this point, nothing can ruin my mood.
Yeah.
Look, boys, that is phenomenal. That is absolutely incredible. What a prospect for the game of rugby. Wesley, I can see you're sitting there rubbing the eyes. Just what's the reaction, buddy?
No, somewhat disbelief. Like I think, as I think, it's the best. That first half is the best half of a quarterfinal rugby match I've ever watched. I mean, it was just absolutely electric, back and forth. It was amazing, and then the second half was just a grind. It was just that arm wrestle then that we saw between New Zealand and Ireland, the back and forth, and neither side really finding their way through, but the Boks just finding a way to win, somehow just grinding it out. And I do feel, a word to the French, because personally, and they will get into this, I do feel like France looked the better side. And I know I'm going to cop a lot of hate for that, but I personally think their attack looked more potent. I thought they looked more put together. But the Boks are just a tournament team, and they just found a way to win.
Holy hell. Listen, I'm supposed to be your host for tonight, but to be very honest with you, I was struggling to think of questions because ecstatic. What an incredible game of rugby.
Wow.
Look, I will premise this with saying that I feel very bad for France at the moment, and the comments are going wild. Please keep it coming, guys. It was fantastic, incredible. Thank you so much for joining us for this, because to be honest, moments like these should be shared with the rest of South Africa and all around the world. This is just amazing. Daniel, to be very honest, it looked like the Boks were going into that second half looking like they were completely out of it with the yellow card. Of course, the Eben Etzebeth, the talisman as well. But luckily, the French were unable to take advantage of that. As I calm down and as I relax, I will let you just give us your first impressions of that, particularly of that second half. But yeah, just the entire game in general. What a fantastic prospect of rugby.
I'm speechless. Honestly, I'm speechless. I when there were like 2 minutes left, I thought we had like 15 minutes. I wasn't stressed. And then those next 2.5 minutes felt like 5 years. It was horrible, and the defense was absolutely sorted out. The first half they were dominating, breaking the line pretty much with every phase. Every time they had the ball, they were in our 22. It was a bit of a shambles. I was just praying that we got out alive with Eben off. And it was almost like us just scrapping it and fighting while Eben is off, then rallied the troops a little bit. All of a sudden, we were holding our own scrums with the man down. Yellow, we started winning our scrums. Our line-out wasn't great, but as we said, it's a tournament team. Find a way to bloody win. Like, doesn't matter. Like, our subs was completely different. No one could have predicted, 100 pilot coming on at 45 minutes. Like, ludicrous stuff. Like, really out of the ordinary. But will to win. Boys did it. Like, I'm gonna call it. I said Boks by 1. Couldn't have hit the nail on the head anymore if I wanted to. But yeah, no, I'm ecstatic. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and I'm looking through the comments here, and to be honest, I see a couple of them. I see Young Lion 1988 saying O'Keefe, mom for Bokke. Sorry, buddy, but that is absolutely not the case. I will go with Francis Platt, who says Boykies, and the ref was doing as much as he could to ensure that the French get the rub of the green. Carl, Is that a fair assessment? To be very honest with you, I really don't think so. I think that there were some not so great calls going both ways. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think that, yeah, I really don't think that either team can really put this on the ref.
No, I don't think so. I think, I mean, while I was watching it, it seemed pretty fair. And what I've noticed throughout the quarterfinals is that, especially when it comes to scrums, instead of going, okay, we're not sure, so we'll blow one way or the other, they've just reset. And it's what they should do. If they're not sure, just reset. And, you know, playoff times like this, 1 point is the difference. So you don't want a wrong call to be the reason a team wins or loses. And look, I mean, there are some things that happened in that game where if you're a France fan, yeah, absolutely wrong call. If you're a Springbok fan, yeah, great, perfect call. And that is the nature of sport. And all I've done is I've only called one right score this whole weekend, and it was my own team, who I actually thought would lose.
I mean, as a neutral though, right? You must have enjoyed that, and
Currie's.
I do apologize to everyone. I do have some people
behavior on the live stream.
They
No,
are absolutely loving this right now. So,
Unbiased.
Unbiased households for sure. Yeah, not great having a bunch of Springbok supporters over at a pundit's house, but here I am. My apologies, everyone. But we are Bokke supporter over here at Forever Sports at the end of the day. Yeah, Carl, the only neutral here. But listen, guys, if you are in the comments, and thank you, I see so many there. Thank you for all of the comments that are coming through. It is an absolute pity, isn't it, Wes, for the French, who looked like they had probably one of their best chances at progressing through in a very, very long time. Of course, they were on a very difficult side of the draw, as were we, but only one team can win it at the end of the day. But all credit to this French side, right? They have shown some phenomenal skill. They've shown some grit that we honestly would not have expected from this team. If you had said 4 years ago that we've come up against a French team like this, I would have told you that you are smoking something very green. Would you agree with that? What are the kudos that this French team deserve?
Yeah, you would have also asked to have a puff of what I was smoking, but no, I think, you know, absolutely massive congratulations to the French side for what they've been able to achieve so far, and it is absolute heartbreak. And I felt the same way, and I know I think I'm alone in the Forever Sports community here, but I felt the same way for Ireland yesterday. You know, to go up against New Zealand. Yeah, okay, so Cal and I are the Ireland sympathizers to a degree. But you have to be gutted. You know, while I'm elated for the Boks that we're moving on, that we make it to the next round, that we've got a shot at, you know, getting into a good semi-final and then potentially a final, it is heartbreak for the French. I mean, to be, you know, in the best form that they've been in a long time, and to be at home in that form, yeah, and then to lose, it's just so close. And by 1 point, you know, and as I said earlier, I think they felt like the better side in that game. I mean, that last scrum that they had, you know, down by their 5 meter, to attack from there and find a way through and make it all the way almost to our 22. I mean, it's just absolute class from this French side. But again, as I said, the Boks found a way to win. So yeah, taking nothing away from the Springboks, but my hat off to this French side and my condolences to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Daniel, I see a couple of comments here. I see it was, that's a hell of a long name, but OB Sedgefield, gem of our garden route. But DuPont in particular, what an incredible comeback story. That is phenomenal to see a man with a fractured cheekbone come back and play a game like that with nothing but headgear on, which we, if anyone who's ever played rugby knows that really does absolutely nothing. It's really just for show. But I mean, what a story for Antoine Dupont, right?
Unbelievable. I mean, if they won, you could argue he would have been the reason they won. He was, given the performance, to come off an injury and produce something like that. Obviously, he just seems like he's at the peak of his powers every time he plays, and he just is the guy. He creates, he does the things. It's nice, you know, it's a little bit different. It's like Sexton, you know, now he's retired. That's it for him. DuPont, he'll come back. He has another World Cup, maybe even 2. You know, he'll have another crack at it. And I don't think either of Ireland or France are going away anytime soon. So, and I mean, I think it's sad as for him. You know, what a player, and you know, I think this will really sting, and to be one of the, you know, 75,000-80,000 fans in that Stade de Francais with wearing blue tonight is going to be really, really tough, because this was their time. Much like we said for Ireland, this was their time. And I think, you know, you'll see on this, like the stats will show a quarterfinal drop off, but in reality, it's a semi-final, right? Like that's just the nature of how the draw went. So it's a pity. It's tough for them, and you like, at the end of the day, it came down to a game that could have gone either way.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100%. It is a game that could have gone either way. The Boks are the ones who came out at the end of it. Look, Albert van Lingen says, Liebok changed my mind. He is great. Thank you, Albert. I know you're always in the chat, and we really appreciate your contributions. Msadisi Mtrunu says, no, sorry, I apologize for the swearing. Said that was crazy. And another moment, Key Buckley says it was that Colby charge down. These are all moments that were phenomenal throughout the game. Eben Etzebeth's little knockdown that he had in that first half was also phenomenal. I mean, that could have very easily been another yellow card for him, actually. But Carl, I guess my question to you is actually around Manie Libbok and Andre Pollard. It's worked out for me, actually. I love this combination that they have going at the moment. I think they've worked out a system that works well. It looks like Manie was given the freedom to play in that first half, and play he did. He did absolutely, for me, nothing wrong in this entire game. He was phenomenal throughout. And Andre came in at crunch time, when the pressure was on, when he knows what to do, and slotted a very crucial penalty. And just managed that game. Carl, I mean, is that the correct assessment of this? Did they do the right thing by starting Manie?
Yeah, I think I mean, since the World Cup started, I said it would be stupid not to start him. Especially, it would be even more almost criminal to bring Pollard straight in. And even during this game, when he did come off like that early, I was like, these are some interesting changes that I certainly, especially when Khaleesi went off, I was just like, okay, what are they actually trying to do here? But you know, I keep getting shit wrong, so clearly it worked.
It's almost like we seem surprised because we don't know what's going to happen, and we think it's going to shake them, but like they knew at least, right? I think everyone was shocked though, but I completely agree. It was very confusing when we saw them come off.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little confusing, and we've seen it now. I'm not entirely sure the Reinach experiment paid off so much, but he certainly deserved his chance in that starting lineup. But I think that's probably of the things that the Boks tried, that maybe was the one thing that didn't quite work out. So I see a couple of comments coming in here. We've got Gabian, Manie needs to be Manie, go for try and touch always, 100%. Let me just see, I'm just going through these comments here. Apologies, guys, there are a lot there. Justin says, let's go sleep, guys. School tomorrow. I mean, yeah, look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Please, now that the Boks have won, don't let Mondays get in the way of your Sundays, guys. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Although when it's the Boks, it's not actually once in a lifetime. It's more like fourth in a lifetime at the moment. But
you know, you have to begin next weekend.
Yeah, we still go next weekend. But where's the crucial question being, right? Can the Boks carry this form over, having survived? To be very honest, it's not an outright win, but having survived a very crucial game, can the Boks go all the way?
Yeah. I mean, so I hope they don't carry this form over. I mean, I hope they're significantly better next week, to be honest. And I know I might be seeming a bit harsh, and you know, there's tons of support for the Boks in the chat, and thank you, Oaks. Yeah, we love the Boks. I'm not saying I don't love them, but I think if we're all very honest, this was not a good Bok performance. I can't point to besides finding a way to win and maybe scrum time and some of the decision making, there was nothing for me that looked threatening, about the Boks side in terms of attack or moves or whatnot. We picked it up, we took our advantages, and their mistakes when we could, but I hope that we build from this, right? Like, it wasn't a pretty win against Wales in 2019 in that semi-final. It was by 3 points, and then we turned up in the final, albeit against a very average English side who sort of played their final the game before. But I think we will hopefully look to build. I want to see us come out next week and almost look like that side that came out against New Zealand in Twickenham. That for me, I think is a sign that we're on the right path. So yeah, a few things to tidy up. Line-out time. We went for the corner right before the game. Everyone was saying, we should definitely go for the corner more. Like, let's see our driving more. We went to the corner. We lost our line-out. So we left 6 points out there when we didn't take kicks. So yeah, I think again, I'm not being negative. Congrats to the boys. I'm super stoked. But my mindset already immediately goes to, right, what are we improving on? But yeah, can't wait to watch it next weekend.
Absolutely. I see a comment here, Dan. One that I quite like. It's focused on something a little bit different. From Jean Herber, says French fans poor sportsmanship. Never mind. Apologies. There's so many comments coming through that it keeps rebooting. Never mind booing kicks, booing our replacements. Really, I have no sympathy for you. It's always a difficult one, right, when it comes to fans, because I can't say that if it was in South Africa that South African fans would be any different. But it is always difficult when you're playing a host nation. There were a couple of calls that were very obviously correct. I'm not saying that all of them were correct. Some of them were very obviously correct. And there was a lot of booing in the stands, which is nothing you really want to see in a game of rugby. But I mean, it's disappointing, isn't it, that this is starting to creep in? It's something that we expect from football. It's not something we expect from rugby.
Yeah, I think it's hard, as you said. I can't say with full confidence if this game is played at Loftus, the same isn't happening. You know what I mean? Like, Oaks are filled with alcohol. They're passionate fans. They want the best for their team. Like, you can see the kicks happening like that. Subs is a bit stupid and a bit silly. Like, there's no real reason to be. You're not going to put them off or anything like that. That's just a bit of jeering. But yeah, I mean, it's about a part of the home ground advantage. They're going to cheer and they're going to jeer as well, But like, it's tough. I don't want to just have a complete dig at the French fans. Like, I do think they are some of the most. They toe the line, further than most rugby supporters. And as you said, rugby often prides itself on its, decorum around like a kicker and stuff like that. You go play in Ireland and you can hear a pin drop when someone's kicking, and there is, that nuance. But I don't necessarily think they crossed the line tonight. I just think they're towing the line.
Absolutely. And so, Carl, I have brought up the comment here. I see spectator Saul says, I was livid when Fuff, it says fact, but it means Fuff kicked the ball in the 78th minute. That was reckless. So we were supposed to be managing the game better in those closing moments. Yeah, I mean, Carl, there is something to be said there. When you 78 minutes and 30 seconds in, what is the point in kicking deep? I mean, do the guys not back themselves to hold onto the ball for a minute and 30 seconds anymore? We used to see that all the time. In fact, we used to see games closed out with 75 minutes in, continuous holding of ball in hand. So what do you think the thinking behind that is?
I think that, look, it's been a long time since a team could close a game for 5 minutes out, and against France, I'd be slightly wary of conceding a penalty. I'd rather force France to play from their own 22 than get caught and concede a penalty, lose the game. Yes, France can attack from literally anywhere, and they clearly did, but I'd rather back my defense than hope someone misses a kick a goal.
Yeah,
I get it.
Absolutely. Sorry, if I can jump in, I'm absolutely with Cal there.
Sure.
I think also the rules in the game have changed slightly, right? So, you used to be able to latch onto a player and basically just seal off that ruck, not allowing any competition, no problem. But now there has to be fair contest. So it's a bit more difficult for the forwards to kind of close out that game. And I 100% think when you've got Thomas Ramos, who's who's a laser when it comes to kicking, I think just put it deep and get the defense up nice and quick and just force them to play from there.
Yeah, and I think that lends exactly into what Tabza is saying here. I brought up his comment here. The points kicking deep is getting out of the zone where a penalty means points against you. And of course, Tomas Ramos, I should say, has been absolutely lethal with the boot in recent times. So I'm sure that is thinking behind that. But absolutely, what a roller coaster of a game, guys. This has been incredible. To be honest, there are I could see a lot of French fans very hurt by what has happened here, and understandably so. It's not gone well. We apologize. I mean, look, somebody's got to win it. I think both teams would have been very upset to have gone in there. We've got Killian, apologize if I got this wrong. Theatins is just a very simple, I hate Springboks. A little, I hate you, Springboks. A little cuppy on the A there on the hate. So, yep, thanks, buddy.
I'd also hate us.
Sorry. Yeah. I'd also hate us, to be very honest with you.
I'm going to hate you next weekend, so...
Yeah, you are going to hate us next weekend, of course. This is Springboks take on England. And for once, of course, England will be stressed. And they should be stressed because their record against the Boks in World Cups has not been fantastic. For once, it is not in a final, though. We see what happens. We've got Phenomena Dubber Racones' final, Argentina, England. Imagine that. Wild calls, but who knows? To be honest, I do
only Northern Hemisphere team left.
Yeah, in that case, I back Argentina all the
way. So do I.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not even going to entertain some of these comments, but we'll.
Yeah, I think if I can. So I've seen a couple of comments here, and going back to the point I was making earlier about the Boks not being maybe on point and potentially fair being called out in the comments. People saying, look, the French side is a very good side at disrupting, and potentially that's why the Boks weren't looking as good as normal, is because we played against a very good French side who were going to not allow us to do what we wanted. So I absolutely take your points there, guys. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, I hope we can come out and again, like, New Zealand played against a very good island side, but they were able to disrupt that and enforce their game plan as well. So we need to find a way to do both, because if we do make it through to the final, I can tell you the All Blacks will be absolutely pumped at a shot of revenge. I mean, they will, if you give them the opportunity to beat us in a World Cup final or at Twickenham pre-World Cup, I can tell you which one they're choosing. So they are going to be frothing for that. But look, we've got next weekend to get through first, and they've got to get through. They've got to get through Argentina.
And if you haven't,
I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me or not. I'm gate crashing here, and if you guys can hear me, so I'll let you know. I'm busy walking through the streets over here, and it's hectic, like mental.
Look, Steve, we've had a couple of comments already saying that